Welcome back to WowBiz Weekly. I'm Lynn, Hinderaker, and of course we're here on WowBizTV.com. We are part of the social media revolution because many of these videos, in fact just about all of them, are on YouTube as well. So we want to engage with you. We encourage you to comment on these videos and actually contact the people that are featured in these interviews right here. Now, speaking of which, I've got a guy that I got to introduce to you. I went to a seminar recently and he was clearly the most eloquent. He had the details. He backed up all his social media background with some tremendous research. And we're going to just skim the surface briefly. This is a guy who put meat on the bones with social media contractors. Please welcome Mr. Adrian Blank. Is that right? Yes, Adrian Blank. I don't know why I had a blank. I don't know why I had a blank. I got so involved in thinking about the seminar that you did so well.
You're very kind. Thank you.
I lost the last name, so I apologize.
No trouble at all.
Good to see you. Now, let me ask you this here. Your social media contractors, they're out in West Omaha, right?
We are just around Rockbrook.
Okay, so. All right. But your background's with New York. Why don't you just tell us briefly about
Absolutely. When I came out of college, my first jobs was with Saturday Night Live, and I sold the programs that we made from Saturday Night Live to foreign countries.
Only on WowBiz Weekly. Do you have a Saturday Night Live were you a writer or the business side?
No, I was a business development guy, and then I went off to Comedy Central, did the same thing. We set up Comedy Central channels all over the world.
Yeah.
Worked a long time at McKinsey & Company in London and then in LA doing strategy for media companies, and came to Omaha to be part of the turnout at DTN, and I ran the advertising businesses.
Oh, sure.
So, Progressive Farmer magazine, the world's largest farm magazine.
Absolutely. My father read it every day as a youngster. Okay. So tell us, now we have social media contractors, you're free, you have a partner and so on over there. Tell us, what is the thing that we took a look at? Why does social media have such a mystique? We're excited about it. Everybody kind of wants to get involved with it. But there's a lot of disappointment, Adrian, about our involvement with it. I recently hired a consultant for 90 days to kind of pump up our business on that side. And after 90 days, we had some postings, we had a little action, but it truly did not seem like there was a return on that investment in the short term. Help me understand what's going on here. Maybe you can give us a couple tactical suggestions.
Sure thing. The first thing I would say is we're in a transformation in American culture, and we're taping today. It's February 15th, and 2 deals were announced yesterday that I thought were really endemic of something. Number one is that Time magazine has announced that it's going to sell off most of the magazines of Time Inc. and merge them with Meredith. So we're looking at magazines like People and InStyle. Enormous names in the magazine business.
Incredible. Franchises that have been around 40, 50 years.
Exactly right. And in the New York Times, David Carr described it as media companies now think print is toxic. Second example would be that General Electric finally sold the last part of NBC that they owned.
Yes, to a Comcast.
Right, exactly right. So again, you're talking about like huge old line media, enormous brands that no longer have the value they did once upon a time. And that is because American culture has changed. 5, 10 years ago, social media was seen as, the kids are doing it, it's kind of edgy. And now is 100% in the mainstream of American culture. You watch the Golden Globes, you watch any big event, people are watching it concurrently with Twitter. So what happens is at a time of cultural transformation like this, you have a lot of people who are uncomfortable with the new world, who are making assumptions about the new world, who don't understand how the new world works.
Some are in denial, some completely embrace it.
Completely agree.
But they're frustrated because, again, they're not fully optimizing their involvement with it.
Exactly right. And so I think people
we're on the same page here so far.
Good. I think what people do, a lot of people assume that if I run my business Facebook page, just like I run my own Facebook page, then that should work just fine. And most people who do that end up very, very disappointed.
Yes.
The way that we look at social media is it is an extension of your business strategy. So you have to start, first of all, with who are you trying to serve? What is the value proposition that you offer? And it's a lot harder to think through that than it is to think through making a cute kitten contest. But at the same time, being rigorous about it is how you get results from it.
Rigorous.
Yeah. So
which means putting a lot of time into it.
Well, time makes a big difference. Data makes a big difference. The best analogy that I can give to people about how to make your business social media presence work, and it's independent of which platforms you're on and which audience you're trying to reach, is consistency and rigor. It's much more like weightlifting than it is like the artistic process. I'm out of the TV business. I was hoping that you come up with, the way this would work, you'd come up with one brilliant insight, and then the world would beat a path to your door. And it's not about that. It's about every day doing something that's on message, that's good, that's consistent. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be on message.
It needs to be on message. And I have to tell you that if there were 1,000 people here at the Hicks and Lead Auditorium, which there don't happen to be at this moment, but soon that will happen.
Soon enough.
I'm not sure that 30% of them would really know what on message means.
Certainly.
You know, there's, oh, let's just get in there and post, you know. But there's no big idea anymore. The big idea is like being blurred by this flurry of conversation and chaos. And the big idea tends to just like vanish.
Well, it's possible. I mean, it's certainly, and this is again part of the cultural transformation, is that people on Twitter are used to hearing from a lot of different voices. So you can manage, following, 1 or 2,000 people. And so the expectations that you have from each one of those are different than it would be if you were watching a television channel.
Yes, yes.
So to that end, the more disciplined you are about your message, then they know that Lynn is the guy who understands about Omaha business, about changing trends in business, about how to take lessons and apply them to your real life.
Yes.
As long as you're consistent about that message, you're going to get results. If you start opining about what's going on in politics and the Super Bowl, that might be fine for your personal brand, but
I'm off message.
Exactly right.
Tell me about video. We're obviously in that milieu at this moment. What's your take on video online and how the role it plays in social media?
It's enormously powerful. And anytime you're talking about business and social media, there are 3 things you want to do. Number 1, you want to create distinctive content. Number 2, you want to get it in front of the right audience. And number 3, you want them to actually take an action that will make you money.
Which one of those 3 is the toughest?
All 3. It depends on who you are. Look, you're great at making content. And so making distinctive content is not going to be the hard part for Lynn. But video, it tends to be much more impactful than other things. Text is great.
Yes.
Photos are great. Instagram is particularly powerful around images. We see some serious B2B companies using Instagram very well. If you ever check out the feed of Maersk freight forwarders, super example of how to use Instagram well.
Interesting.
But video is something that, pound for pound has more impact than anything else. It's hard to produce well. So the people who do produce it well have a distinct advantage over other people.
Outstanding. I'm feeling more comfortable as this conversation unfolds.
As well you should. The next steps then for you would be make sure that you get it in front of the people who are the relevant audience. And there are a lot of mechanical things you can do to do that. And then third is making sure that you actually are not just toting up Facebook likes and followers, that you're actually getting people to do something because of it. And for a lot of people, that's the hard part, is transitioning the online to the offline.
Right.
Because you shouldn't be doing social media to do social media. You should be doing social media to enhance your business.
So it has some strategic value.
Exactly right.
Absolutely. Should people be taking a 6-figure marketing budget or advertising budget and putting 70% of it into social media or 20%? Well, Adrian, we'll wrap up here.
Sure, they should be giving all of it to me, is what they should be doing.
Okay, very good. That's a tangible recommendation.
Exactly
We can evaluate later.
I would go back to you first start with strategy. Who's the market that you're trying to reach? And we have clients whose target market are women 55 to 64. If you went only for social media to reach them, that would be a little bit risky. Yeah. We don't think that social media necessarily is the replacement for everything. We think social media is unbelievably effective at delivering certain messages to certain audiences. So, depending on who you are trying to reach, 70% may be the right answer, 20% may be the right answer. It all depends on what your business
and it's rather
is.
Measurable, is it not?
That is the exciting thing about it. In the TV business, it's a lot harder to measure. In the print business, it's harder to measure. But I can tell you every day exactly what your community is doing for you.
Okay. Social Media Contractor is a major new player on the scene here in the Omaha business community. My pleasure, Adrian Blake. Thanks for joining us here
Thanks a lot.
on Wow Biz Weekly. Thank you so much, everybody. A great show. My pleasure to have you. Check us out on Wow Biz TV every single time. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.